Hey guys, good morning. Happy Monday. I cannot believe we are like mid-July. Where is summer going? But the best part of summer where I live is we don't have mosquitoes this year. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's kind of freaky actually that I've seen four mosquitoes now all spring and summer. I live in the middle of Minnesota. The deer flies, on the other hand, are making up for the loss of mosquitoes, but I'm just happy to be here. Summer is a time where staying connected is really important, you guys, because we have so many options of things to do. We could all be at the beach right now. We could all be out on a walk. We could be watching a soap opera. I don't know what people do during the day, but thanks for being on. I appreciate you being here. Today, we are on chapter 8 of this Ed Milet book, The Power of One More. And I'm going to do a lot of reading today, so brace yourself for that. But I really can't do justice to what the content is here today. So we've been going through this book for a couple months now. He was our speaker at convention in June. And I tell you, his in-person speaking is so much more powerful than even his book and his podcast, and I love both. So if you can find YouTube videos of him speaking in person, he's very dynamic. And his passion, doesn't it, Lisa, comes right across to you. He's such a good speaker. So I really enjoyed listening to him and going through this book and just looking at little ways that we can improve what we're doing, not not jumping in and doing what you're doing times 500 at all, but how can I look at my life, look at my day, and just add 1%, one more chapter, one more podcast, just one more of something that brings me closer to where I want to be in life. And Joyce, you don't know my story. I'm Rachel Anderson. I've been with Plexus for 11 years now. And when I joined this company, I was just a normal, everyday mom living my life. I had three jobs, three kids. We were in the middle of basketball season, great hubby. And I was so tired and feeling so rotten. And I was so self-absorbed in the fact that we were broke. We were pinching pennies for everything. We had a lot of pancakes because we had some medical debt that all came due at the same time. A chiropractor drained our health savings account. We were in trouble when I found Plexus, but I wasn't looking for a business. I was looking to feel better because money wasn't really anything on my mind with this company. I actually just wanted to feel better. I didn't want to have sleepless nights anymore. I wanted to wake up in the morning, be on time for work because I had some energy. I wanted to quit being growly and snappy and ornery at my children. Like those were the things I was looking for. God provided so much more, and I'm really very grateful. In the process of this company, uh, a couple people asked me some questions, and I posted about it recently. But a gal had come to do a training, and she asked me a question that really began this journey of self discovery. And she said, "What are two or three lies that you're believing about yourself that aren't even true?" And I was so surprised by that. And she and I are friends now. She's way in our upline, Helen McFadden. And she said, she looked at me when she said that. And she said, my eyes got huge. And she knew the wheels were turning. And I knew my three words right away. It was fat and stupid and ugly because I said those about myself all the time. And I would say them before you would say them as a joke. So, like, it would all be out in the open that I already knew I was dumb. I already knew that I was homely. I already knew that I was fat. Like, I said it all the time. So gross. And we actually got a swear jar at our house. And my kids were 12, 17, and 19 at the time. And my 12-year-old became my Holy Spirit. And every time she heard me say fat, stupid, or dumb about myself or something I was doing, I had to put a buck in there. And they got to go to a huge amusement park in Minnesota when we filled it up. So she watched me like a hawk and helped me change my language. I'm so grateful. But in this process of changing how I was talking about myself, one of the benefits was that my daughters stopped saying those words about themselves. And my granddaughters now are 6 and 3. Livy's never said anything like that about herself, the 6 year old. And I'm so grateful. That's like legacy change when it comes to thinking. And I'm just so grateful for this company. And in this process, Joyce, so many people were talking to me, talking to all of us about mindset, talking about what we're putting in our head, what's filtering out. There's a Bible verse like, whatsoever a man thinketh, that's what he is. And I thought it was fat, stupid, and dumb, and ugly. And I said it, and I thought it, and I believed it. I spoke it all the time. And when other people started talking to us about mindset and about that we could really change our thinking, I was like, what is this? I was like, is this some weird juju stuff? Like, is this like some hippie do conversation? But it's not. And the gal that shared this with me at first had a lot of Bible verses that she was sharing with me. And as I just began to explore my own thinking, I should have grabbed this book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. It's on my bookshelf downstairs. That was the first book that I ever read about mindset, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. And it really allowed me to just think about mentally what was going on. Because they say 80% of our thoughts are negative, like gulp, giant eyes emoji, right? Like 80%. I don't want that floating around in there. So if we can get a handle on our mindset and our words and how we speak to ourselves and to others, man, life opens up. And so today, this whole chapter it's called One More Question to Ask Ourselves. And he really gets into it. So I'm going to go through a lot of his list. So here we go. Okay, ready? Chapter 8. One more question to ask ourselves. He has a quote here that starts with Socrates. Anyone else my age that thinks Socrates and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure every time you hear the name Socrates? So Socrates said, the unexamined life isn't worth living. And I think that examination of ourself, who we are, what we're thinking, how we present ourselves to ourselves is just as important as what we put out there in the world. And I want them to line up. I don't want to be a hypocrite with my thoughts when I'm talking trash to myself, but I'm telling you guys to breathe life over yourself and over your family, but I'm being mean to Rachel inside. Like, I want to find balance in that. So here we go. Do you ever think about what you think about? I didn't. No shame in that. Never had occurred to me. Most people never take control of their thoughts because they don't ask the right questions. So they have a flawed belief of what their thinking should be. This thinking, this process of answering and asking and answering questions of ourselves is really important. That's how thought works. You constantly ask and answer questions in your head thousands of times a day. That's just wild to me. So if you want to change the quality of your thoughts, you need to change the quality of the questions you ask. The quality of those questions that you ask controls the quality of the thoughts that you think. And you'd be amazed at how finely tuned our brain is at finding the answers that you're looking for. Better questions lead to better answers. Better answers lead to a better life. When you ask yourself the right questions, you arrive at the truth about yourself. Unfortunately, looking inside your own life isn't always fun. Man, I had an inner critic that you would not believe, and she was so mean to Rachel. That inner voice, that self accountability means there's no place to hide because it's always in here, right? But to achieve personal growth, one more thinkers must accept this challenge and embrace answers to the questions of the big questions in our life. Many people find it only takes one more answer to produce dramatic changes. And these are some questions we're going to get into. Asking the right questions is the first step in getting the answers you need to help make that happen. Getting answers removes roadblocks that help you create change. So for me, that question was, what are 2 or 3 lies that you're believing about yourself that aren't even true? That began this whole journey. Ed is going to give us a whole list of questions that we can ask ourselves. What if you could find one more powerful question to ask yourself several times a day? Okay, don't rush into these questions. Let the answers come. You might need, the recording is going to be up, but if you guys want to use the chat, if a question really pops out at you, feel free to do that, but maybe just listen. I think maybe just if you need to write one down, if you need to go back, if you need to grab the books, you have the list. I'll actually take a photo of the questions and I'll put them up in the comments because this post for this in Motivate and Inspire. I'll put the recording under there and I'll give you the questions. If you don't have the book, I'll take a photo of them. If I forget to do that, someone remind me, okay? Lisa, I'm going to tell you to remind me if I forget to do that. I live out in the country, so I don't know how long it'll take me to download the video and get it in there, but I'll get the recording to you guys. Find a quiet place and let your mind go to work so the answers will have value for you. I was reading in my garden when I was listening to this chapter, and I listened to it 3 times because I was trying to soak in what I was hearing. They were so good. But I also know that I need to sit down and journal a couple of these questions because they really impacted me. Think about the answers you come up with today versus the answers you'd like to have at some point in the future, because we don't have to stay stuck, right? Once you plant these future answers in your brain, your mind will go to work on your behalf to turn those answers into a new reality for you. I'm going to read that one more time. Once you plant these future answers in your brain, your mind will go to work on your behalf to turn these answers into a new reality for you. Remember, one answer can create big changes, and asking one more questions is the first step to the desired outcome. So here are the questions. One more question to ask yourself to lead an extraordinary life. Okay. Take a deep breath, Rach. I'm going to grab a sip. I forgot my water. Let me grab a sip. What one more thing can I do to show my spouse or my partner that I love them? These aren't just business asks. These are life asks. How can I do one more thing to improve my relationship with my children? Is there one more thing I can do to make my family feel more special? Is there one more thing I can do to show my appreciation to the people that I work with? What's one more way I can adjust my thinking so I make fewer excuses? Ooh, that one kind of grabs me a little bit. And you know what? No one believes our excuses. Like, we think they're good, but usually people see right through them. And then we're just trying to justify them to ourselves. What part of this situation can I control right now? I love that one, because life 99% of the time is not under control. What can I control? If something's really hard right now, what can I control? It might just be my attitude. It might be what I decide to put in. It might be that I decide to shut up. It might be that I decide to speak life. What's one thing I control right now? What is happening? How is this happening for me and not to me? That's a really good question too, to help us not feel like a victim if something's really hard right now. What's more thing I can do to calm myself down today? Is there one more thing I can do to bring myself long-term peace? What's one more thing I can do to worry less about what other people think? What's one more way I can bring my anger level down? Is there one more thing I can do so people will see me less different than I see myself? What is one more way I can worry less about the past? How can I implement one more way to worry less about the future? What's one more way I can get more excited about the future? What's one more way I will practice gratitude? I'm going to say that one again. What's one more way I will practice gratitude? How do I implement one more way to procrastinate less and protect the valuable asset of my time? That's a good one. What's one more way I can be less of a spectator and more of a participant? How or can I do one more thing to ask myself hard questions, even if I know I won't like the answers? Oh, yeah, that's rough. What's one more way I will tell myself it's okay to fail and learn from my mistakes? Is there one more way to be a good steward with the money that I've been blessed with? Is there one more way to ensure my values are consistent with my standards and my goals? In my work, is there one more way I can become an effective leader? One more way I can be healthier, to change my diet to lose weight, to exercise to burn fat or pack on muscle? One way I can let go of what's holding me back that I'm better off without? One more block of time to let my mind wander and daydream? That in today's world is hard, isn't it? We are in inundated, is that the right word, with so much noise, so much chatter. When can I just give myself 5 minutes of peace? Maybe that's where four square breathing comes in. You go sit outside in the sunshine if possible. You just close your eyes, you do some deep breathing, and you just let your brain shut off for a little while and just let a song come into your head, a verse come into your head, prayer, meditation, whatever it is to slow your brain down, slow your life down. It's so good for our health. What's more thing I can do to eliminate? I can eliminate that's stopping me from doing the things I could be doing. I shut the TV off for the first 3 years I built this business. And I was like a TV fanatic. And I came home every day and watched Seinfeld when I got off of work. My kids knew to leave me alone. That was mom time. I shut the TV off and I built my business because I knew that was a waste of my time, big time. What's one more way I can change my thinking so I complain less? Cringe. What's one more thing I can do to help somebody in pain who really needs me? How do we see people, right? What's one more thing that has provided me with the most bliss recently? Isn't that a good question? What's one more thing that has provided me with the most bliss recently? Write about that. Jot that down. Do a post about that. Make a story about that. Make a reel. What brings you bliss? How can I do one more thing to handle conflict better? What's one more thing I can do to better deal with the people in my life who drain the energy out of me? Ooh, energy vampires. Oh, they just suck the life of me thinking about them. Is there one more thing I can do to carve out more time to be mindful and intentional? What's one more thing I should do to stop holding grudges? What's one more thing I have learned in life that I can pass on as a mentor to others? This is where we bring value to people, guys. If something just popped in your head, write it down. Write it down. Talk about it. What's one more thing I can do to enjoy my work more? Was I curious enough to ask one more questions to seek out answers to the important questions in my life today? That's a big one. Are we curious? Are we asking the questions to try to do and be better? What's one more prayer I need to have or scripture I need to hold closer in my faith life? Is there one more way I can thank and honor God for the gifts that I've received today? Answers to these questions can be really uncomfortable. They were when I started this. I get it. And some of these questions made me cringe. I literally made a face because I don't want to even think about them. They're not always, we don't always have uncomfortableness, but in many cases, to grow, the best answers are the ones that are going to be really hard for you to address. If you want to be average, if you're happy where you're at because you're comfortable, or maybe you're scared, or maybe you're lazy and you don't want to know how to make your life better, then don't ask these questions that lead to growth. I love that he put that in there. I can just hear him saying it. Just don't even ask me then. I don't even want to hear it, right? Nobody can force you to do anything you don't want to do. But the greatest gift is not to be afraid to question. If you're not healthy enough to want to gift yourself with the truth, then don't get to the end of your life with regrets. Some questions won't have immediate answers. Don't assume defeat if you can't apply logic and solutions when that happens. Sometimes we gotta wait. Sometimes we gotta sit on something. We need to pray about it. We need to process it with our best friend, with our spouse, with whoever. We don't need to know everything right now, but what maybe can you address today? And what maybe needs to be written down, tucked in, chewed on, sat on. We might not have answers to some things for months or years, but don't be afraid to think about them, to process things. An answer to a question you will ask now may not come until later or not at all. Give yourself credit for having the courage to ask and to seek the answer. Remember, one question often leads to another and another and another. Enlightenment travels a lot of different paths. Learn to live with the great unanswered questions in your life. Seek answers daily. Some will come to you like a lightning bolt. Others will come to you over time. Either way, living with extraordinary questions and the answers of your life is one of the most admirable traits of a one more thinker. My robot just emptied. I hope you could still hear me when I was talking. Um, One thing that I do when I'm coaching people, and I know that I've said these words to Leanna before, and she's actually said them to me before I could say them to her a couple of times. Um, I don't like the answer, I don't know. When I ask someone a question, they say, I don't know. I don't accept that anymore. I like to say, well, if you did know, what do you think you would say? And that's been turned around on me too. And I'm like, all right, zip it. I just want you to help me and tell me an answer. But a lot of times we know our little subconscious is just waiting for a chance to come up and give us an answer. But if we're like, I don't know, this is too hard, I can't figure it out. Well, what if it wasn't too hard? Then what would you do? What if you did know? What would you say? What if you could figure it out? What would happen? Don't let yourself take the easy way and cop out and say, I don't know. I won't accept that from you. If you come to me and want help, and guys, Joyce, I promise I'm a very nice person. But if you come to me and want help and you are just going to say, I don't know, or I can't, or I don't want to hear your excuses, I love you enough to want you to move past them and to throw them in the garbage. Just throw them in the garbage. So if you say, I don't know, Rach, I will say to you without hesitation, well, if you did know, what do you think you would do? What do you think you would say? How do you think you would respond? And usually our mind tells us the answer just with that one question. A lot of times when we're health coaching someone, we have to get deeper with questions. Someone will say, I had someone come to me, I had a gal sign up on Friday. And initially, she just wanted a little more energy and for her stomach to stop hurting when she ate. Well, the more we sat and had coffee and the more we talked, the more questions she was answering for me. I didn't even have to ask the question. She was just telling me her story. Pretty soon, I realized she's really got a ton of anxiety, which I think is her stomach aches when she eats. She's struggling with depression. She's not sleeping well at all. She gets up in the morning and is fearful right off the bat with everything running through her mind. So she's got lots of stress and lots of anxiety. She didn't share any of this with me in the beginning. It actually changed what I recommended for her to use as products. We added a couple of things because initially I always start everyone in the triplex. And Leanna, I know that's something different in Canada. So if you want to put in the comments your version of the triplex, please do so for our Canadians. But in the US, because I know you guys have a different probiotic. Um, in the US, I start everyone without exception on the triplex. So they're starting with the pink drink, Probio 5, and BioCleanse. Those three products together are an amazing system to bring balance to our body, balance our hormones, our insulin, all the reasons that pink drink was created for blood pressure. I just lost my mind. Cravings, all of that stuff comes with the triplex. We get help with autoimmune issues. We find success in allowing candida yeast to be broken down within our system and flushed out. There are so many good reasons we could start absorbing nutrition again with the triplex. I had this gal add on ease because she's having these tremendous stomach aches when she eats. So I know she needs some extra enzymes in her system to help her break food down. I also know that the triplex is going to help her with her stress and anxiety. She also, I had her add X Factor with aloe because she's having stomach aches. That absorption that the aloe brings into that multivitamin is going to help her absorb everything better that she's putting in her system. And so we did that so she could have some nutrition, and she's been losing her hair. I think from stress and anxiety, that's going to help. We're also looking at collagen. Like we can do tons of add-ons, but I like people to start easy if they can. But she was like, I want some extra help. She knew she wanted a little bit more than the triplex, but I started just with the triplex. That was my jam. That's what I used from January to June because we didn't really have anything else. But that summer, X Factor was introduced, and that was the first thing I added. So asking questions, getting people deeper, that doesn't happen just by a really quick sign up with somebody. This is having conversations with them about their health because we want to meet their needs. We want the products to work for them. And so us asking maybe one more question when we're talking to a potential, when we're talking to someone who's under us, one of our VIPs, that's going to help us get to the root of solving their problems as well. And then as a leader, I know that some of these questions I need to ask of myself so I can lead better. So that I needed when I went through this chapter and listened to it 3 times in the garden, I needed to evaluate, where am I sitting this summer? Where am I right now? Because we came off convention. It's exciting. We're on a high. We got the new skin health program. We have a new challenge that launches today. Are you guys in there? If you're not, get in, motivate, and inspire. The new challenge started today. It's a skin health challenge. Really fun gifts this time, just for giveaways. We do these every month. So make sure you're in there. Make sure you're sharing that with your team. And also, if you are within a few hours of Cross Lake, Minnesota, get on your calendar to come see me July 24th. We're having an in-person event at the Gathering Event Center in Cross Lake. Testimonies, samples. I need to get some skincare samples ordered so we can test that. Remember the old days, Mary Kay, they would have you try their face stuff on your hand, but only on one hand. And does anyone do that? And I remember putting her little night cream and the wash and the toner and all the things on my hand, and it looked so beautiful. And I held up my other hand and I went, oh, that's my mom's hand. It was my hand 20 years down the road. So my mom and I are 20 years apart. I compared them and I was like, whoa. And I thought of that when we were talking about the health line, the new skin health line at convention. We should do a side-by-side of our hands when we're sharing this with people, because it will make a difference. I'm pretty sure. I haven't tried it yet. I always think about it after I'm like putting on my sunscreen or something, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to do it again. But I think we'll do that night. I'm going to test it first. Test it at home before you do this. I don't want you to try this in front of people and it doesn't show a dramatic result like you think it will. But we're just excited to be in person again, you guys. And I know that if you can do a sip and see, even at a coffee shop, like Carrie Heffley was doing taco, like they were meeting at a little taco place and she was talking about it. We're having a sips and salsa. So everybody's bringing salsa and dips and chip, and we're going to have all the mocktails we can make up with our pink drink and our active and our hydrate. And then at the same time, we're going to have some chips and salsa. That's cheap. That's like a cheap, easy little gathering. You don't have to spend $100 to have a gathering. You can bring a couple samples of pink drink. If that's all you have, share your pink drink. If you've got a hydrate or an active, get some little Dixie cups, let everybody have a taste and just answer their questions, talk, share your story. This doesn't have to be scary and complicated. And I think people are ready to like be people again and be human beings again. So if you can get something in person, I highly recommend it. I did not expect to talk for half an hour with a chapter that was like 5 pages long. There's some goodness there. So thank you for jumping in. Does anybody just want to take 1 minute to unmute yourself if you have something you want to share that maybe jumped out at you today or something you've been thinking about? Leanna, do I see you moving to your mute button?
Yeah, actually. I'm just really thankful that Plexus Corporate in Canada are so pumped about events. I've been really blessed with Janek Aubrey. She's the Eastern sales rep for the Eastern end of Canada, but they even do this out West. You can ask either Victoria Bone or Janek Aubrey to hook you up with some stuff for a sip and share. They'll send you prizes. They'll send you samples, and they'll even show you a little like mock itinerary that you can use, like either at a lunch and learn or they call it Share Plexus Your Way. And it can be something simple like going paddle boarding and then setting up a little booth at the end when they're all done paddle boarding or canoeing or whatever it is that you like to do in the summer. And we were thinking, my husband and I, we have this little game called Wahoo. It's kind of like the modern day version of Trouble. If you've ever done that little pop the thing and play Trouble. But it's like Wahoo for active. So it's like the people in my place where I live, they've seen me drinking active and they're curious. So it's just kind of a fun way to share.
Yeah, I love that. If you're not local to me, if you're not in Minnesota, where's your closest jewel upline? Ask her to do an event for you. She can get a hold of corporate. Corporate's sending one of the RSMs out. Jennifer Thomas is coming to our event in Minnesota. That's really exciting. So you can ask if Corp is going to be in your area. There's a map on in the VO somewhere. It might be on the One Branded Plex ambassador page. I can't remember where I saw it, but you can find out where Plexus is going to be this summer. They're all open. So we're if you're living by Emily Roberts and she's having an event and you're not on her team, it doesn't matter. Shoot her a message and she'll let you come. Like we are so one Plexus. So these meetings are always open to any team member on or off your team. But see if there's something within a couple of hours driving distance. I think it'll be worth your time. And it's just so fun to be in person again and to connect, and that face to face can't always happen it doesn't happen on our phones. We can be typing away and checking with people, but this face to face is really important, or getting on a Zoom like we are right now. This is really important. So thanks, Leanna, for sharing that. All right, guys, it's past 10:30. I'm gonna stop talking. I'll get this downloaded. I'll get the recording in Motivate and Inspire, and I'll shoot a picture of those questions out as well. So thanks for joining me. I'm not sure who's up next week, but we always do this every Monday at 10 a.m. unless it's a holiday. So I will see you then. Thanks, guys.